limited Lilias is finally here. And as you guys can see, the animations and the artwork for this unit look completely insane. Definitely a must pull just based on that. But you're also going to see from her skills and her kit that she might be extremely powerful in the current meta for PvP. But yeah, this is her artwork. Looks pretty insane. I'm very happy with how she turned out. I'm pretty sure this was a result of the fan art competition. And whoever drew this, props to you. She looks amazing. I'm always a big fan of good looking characters, and I think this is one of the best looking characters so far. And her animation on her S3 looks insane as well. So let's actually look at her kit really quick. But before we do that, let's actually look at her stats. So if you guys look, she is a thief. She is Libra, which is the first in the game, I believe. She's the first Libra thief. She's extremely fast, and you're going to see she has pretty high crit damage and pretty high attack from her imprint concentration as well. So if you actually look at her first skill, her skill 2, you're going to see it is a passive. At the start of battle and at the end of every turn, you'll grant yourself damage limit for 1 turn. Now, this is going to be an extremely OP buff. If you guys see, it's undispellable, and it'll make it so that damage suffered in one attack does not exceed 35% of your max HP. So if you guys dealt with Tempest Surins or ML Selines or Spirit Eye Selines, I guess, and you guys realize that they're unkillable, well, Midnight Gala Lilias will be even more unkillable because instead of that 50% threshold that it cannot exceed, for her it'll be 35%, which works with barriers, which is extremely powerful. There's also a secondary effect. You're going to see after she attacks on her turn, if the target's health is 50% or less, you'll activate Now or Never, which can be activated once every 3 turns, which will give everyone attack buff on your team for 2 turns, and also CR push by 10%. Now you guys are probably thinking, this only works on targets when they are 50% or less health. That's going to be pretty hard to proc. Well, not really if you actually look at the rest of her kit. You're actually going to see that it's pretty easy to actually activate this passive. So that's her S3 animation, and right after, you can see the S2 CR pushing and giving everyone attack buff, which is insane. The CR push is up to 15%, which is very nice after you skill enhance. This is her S3. This skill is super OP, guys. It's a single target attack that will give her attack buff and also give herself a 35% CR push after. And basically, when the target's max HP is greater than the caster's max health, you will penetrate defense going up to 100%. So basically, this is like old Hwayoung, except that this attack will always result in a critical hit. And it's even better than the old Hwayoung because that damage mitigation from damage limit is insane. As long as you do not have unbuffable on yourself, you should be able to keep that up permanently. And you guys are going to see that this skill 3 does crazy damage. Like, it's going to one-shot pretty much almost every unit in the game if you build her on a very low HP build. If you guys see at the bottom here, you're going to see that she's at 7.8k HP, so you just want 0 HP subs. And what happens is if you go into an LR Crow, which is very tanky with her S3, you're going to see that this does 26k her damage, which is insane. And because this always results in a critical hit, you don't need any crit chance in her build, which makes it very easy to build her on a very high hitting build. So because of this, you probably want to stack her on high crit damage and attack, speed, and then the rest into effect resist. Those are pretty much the only 4 stats you really want right away because you don't need health or defense because of her damage limit passive. You don't need anything else besides attack, speed, and critical damage for your damage. And then the last stat you need is like effect resist because she doesn't really have any debuffs, and you want some ER to actually stop this damage limit from being prevented by like a buff block or, you know, unable to be buffed. So I'm pretty sure you're just going to build her on just gear that you have, which is going to have speed, attack, crit damage, and effect resist if you have gear like that, which is pretty hard to find honestly, but maybe you guys do have that left over. But yeah, let's look at the animation again. It looks insane. The damage is crazy. You guys can see it is going to do 26k to Last Rider Crow because of the HP difference, and you're probably going to end up one-shotting like A Ravi's and even being very close to one-shotting ML Landies as well. And I think she's going to be a very good counter to ML Landy because this always results in a crit, so you bypass ML Landy's passive and you could probably one-shot her, right? So yeah. Now we have her S1, Go Kyle. I'm pretty sure this is like with her dog. It's going to be a single target attack that gives you health back, and you're also going to scale that healing with your own attack, and this will also result in a critical hit. And for only 10 souls, you increase the healing. So yeah, definitely don't need any crit chance. You just want crit damage and attack because it'll give you more healing, more sustain, and just more power overall. And that is 9k damage without even being soul burned, I believe, right? If we look at that again on the ML Landy. ML Landys are built on pretty high like defense as well. And this just does 9k right away, which is crazy. And I really like this skill because it has built-in sustain. So usually with units like Tempest Cern, for example, and even stuff like Roy Mustang, who have like a passive built-in like damage reduction, or even ML Vivian, you usually have to build them on lifesteal to actually have sustain for themselves, but this unit doesn't even need lifesteal set because she has this built-in sustain. So it's very, very powerful, not because of just the damage, which is insane, but also because you have that built-in sustain, which is going to be very good for her kit because she is going to be wanting to recover her own health, so she can actually abuse the damage limit buff, which is going to be very, very strong. Also, because you're probably going to build her on high effect resist, if you play her into like the very common ML Landies, even if they do get their S3 off, because you're probably going to be at 100% effect resist or higher, right? Because you don't really need any other stats. You're going to be immune to her stun, and you're also going to actually mitigate the damage with that damage limit buff, which makes her very good into ML Landies at first glance. And also we have her artifact. So her artifact is very interesting. It's thief exclusive, it gives you effect resist, and if the target's health is 50% or more, you'll do increased damage. This works very, very well with her S3 because you're probably going to use this on a high health target, and it's going to work very well because if you actually get them low enough, you'll actually activate Now or Never as well. So this synergizes very well with her kit, and the effect resist is very nice as well because it will give you that extra effect resist in your kit that you need to stop that damage limit from being blocked by unbuffable by units like Peyra, Angel of Light, which will probably still get that off on you, but units like Savior Aiden who have unbuffable, people forget about that a lot, can be mitigated or stopped from landing that debuff on you with this artifact. So yeah, pretty cool. And the extra damage is always welcome as well. Now, I'm not too sure if this will be your best artifact because there's so many good thief artifacts, right? Even evasion artifacts could be very good on her, probably. You could probably use her on like Alexa's Basket and stuff like that. But for now, I think this artifact will be good on her and will be very good on effect resist units in general that are thieves, such as Blade Karen and also ML Kairon. Haha, even though he's terrible. But yeah, pretty excited for this unit, and this artifact looks pretty insane. I think this unit is a must pull at first glance because she counters a lot of the meta, which is like very slow standard play because she can like one-shot them and she has so much sustain and she's pretty much unkillable. And also she's super waifu AF and she also has amazing animation, so I don't know why you wouldn't pull for her. As you guys can see, she'll be available starting September 21st through a limited summon, and she will last for 2 weeks. And for sure I'll be pulling for her and testing her out, so you guys can see what my first impressions are on her when I play her. But just looking at her kit firsthand, like, she looks absolutely crazy for PvP. Like, I don't think there's a unit that's been released in a long while for RGBs that's been this strong since like Lua. And I'm saying this because she looks like she counters all of the meta units directly, right? You could build it on ER to stop some debuffs, even like AROL is like stun, you can be immune to that if you build it on enough ER. She also has so much mitigation for the high damage that's coming out. You also have sustain built in, right, for the long fights and to actually counter the fact that you're actually going to need more health regen because of her S2. And also her S3 just looks pretty insane, right? You're just going to one-shot like tanks and stuff like that. And you're also very good against ML Landy, and you don't even need crit chance. So a lot of things going for her. I think she's going to be very fun to use. And looking at her base stats, like, she's just so good. She has very high speed as well, so you don't even need like crazy speed gear because she's not really an opener. But if you have like just regular speed set on her, she'll benefit so much from it, which I think will be her best set. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. I'm pretty sure that she'll be super fun and very strong. Hopefully you guys get lucky in summoning her when she does release. And as always, if you guys enjoyed content like this, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.